All right, officially part 3. I went to Walmart today and picked up a big old packet of filet mignons. Never had them before, and they were really good. I just cooked some up, so I got a big belly full, and I'm gonna finish this point. Now, I told you I'd bring you the one I made the other day. Don't they look kind of similar? Except this one's out of Tallahassee. Big old Bolen. It does have a bevel, if you can see, maybe. I don't know what angle's gonna be best for you to see it, but the bevel's going that way and bevel's that way. And usually I serrate them too. At least I have been recently. So that's what we're gonna go for, something like that. Now we do have this little shell pocket there, so we need to be careful, but that's the goal. There we go. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. Let me see if I have another. I do, I definitely do. Well, that's a small one. Give me a second here. Is that the same size as this right here? No, that's way smaller. Is that the same size? It is. Give me just a second here. We're gonna do some switching and swapping. I don't feel like fooling around with the Allen wrench, so I got that instead. Yeah, this bit's a little bit longer. Perfect. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We need our braider for sure. And we already got kind of a slight bevel. Pete, over here, Bo. So here's what I'm gonna do. We beveled it down. If I were to take some flakes off of here, which we're gonna do to make the backside pretty as well. If I were to take some, there's kind of a low spot here. So if I was to take a few flakes here to even out this side, it just hinge. So I gotta braid it the opposite way just a little bit. So braiding up a little bit to create some slight convexity. Do the same thing here. Now I didn't bevel this so that I could just, launch off flakes. This is just to tidy up some areas. This isn't to, mess up my point in any way. This is just to send some pretty flakes, make it look even. That way I don't bevel and there's a real weird high spot. Hopefully it'll make sense as we continue on. So this is our bevel. We're gonna hit a couple down where we feel like we need it. Like for instance, this low spot here. It's kind of low. I need to bring it up. Any low spot. Now see what we're doing. We're drawing it in. Make it a little bit more pleasing to the eyes on this side. There will be times we drive in too, because we want it to be rounded. We don't want it to be, heavy on this side and shallow here. So that's why we drove in a little bit. And again, these are low spots, so it's not like we're getting rid of our bevel or anything like that. It's still beveled. Just getting rid of the low spots. That's all. All right, we're gonna do it on this side too. That wasn't good. Maybe all right. Okay, you kind of see what we're doing. We're just kind of meeting some of these things in here. Nothing too crazy. All right. And we're gonna take this. This is our original bevel on the side here. Go down this way a little bit. Okay. Now, bevel back down. Same thing on this side. This was our bevel. So we took a few here. I'm gonna bevel slightly that way. Just ever so slightly. Bevel back down. And hopefully if you were to rewind a little bit, you'll see that some of these flakes off this side, you know, they help with the contours of the point. So that may not make any sense right now, but hopefully it will eventually. All right, we're gonna do 2 passes. 2 passes. This first pass, I'm going straight down, okay? So I am just pretty much straight down. Nothing wild, not trying to be sequential. I'm just pressing straight down. That's what I'm doing on my first pass. And that's all. Nothing fancy. Anybody can do this. Just press straight down. Straight down, straight down. Doesn't matter what you come up on. I'm coming up on this little weird area here, which we'll probably have to get rid of anyways. So I'm just gonna have to expect that. Just straight down. You see what we're doing? We're just, you know, looks like a real thick bevel. That's all that is. Now that's not what it's gonna look like when we're done, but it's what it's gonna look like right now. Not driving in, just driving down. Okay. So we got a weird looking bevel. It's weird for a reason. Same thing here. I'm still leaving a little room at the tip. I don't want to get too bound up there at the tip. Now some of you, this is how you bevel. This is exactly how you bevel, then you leave it. I don't like it like this. But do it this way because you'll see. There's a method to the madness. And I'm not a humongous, you know, Bolen bevel maker. I don't make them a lot. I make lost lakes too, which are beveled. I'm not a master of this. There's 40 ways to do it. I'm gonna show you my way. And why I do it my way. Straight down. Straight down. Straight down. Straight down. We're getting there. All right. Slowly but surely, guys. Slow and steady wins the race. All right, okay, so now we got pretty thick looking bevel on both sides. All right, again, we do that for a reason. It is because I don't like my edges to be so upright. I like them to shoot across a little bit. Now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to bevel with my abrader. You see our bevel here? I'm gonna bevel down. Now, I could bevel up, raise this platform up really, really high, and then shoot some. But if you wanna shoot them further across, you need this bottom line, which is now below center line, you need it to be raised up a little bit to the middle. And you do that by abrading down. Don't be afraid to abrade. Don't be afraid. So now it's about center line. So I can shoot some flakes even further. So that's about center line, okay? This line is way below center line. Well, if I want to really shoot some, which I got to be careful here, like really, really careful, then I need a bevel. Now we're at about center line, okay? Still can clearly see the old bevel, and we're about to remove it. And I might start with this side because this is gonna blow out. That pocket right there, that's gonna blow out. So I gotta prepare for that. All right, let me get a sip of sweet tea here. I'll get another sip. And we're gonna make this bevel rise up a little bit. It comes about right here. And it's more of a flatter bevel, but I like it that way. Actually, that wasn't the side of the bevel, it was this side here. You see, you can barely see it on this material, but it's a flatter bevel. And I really like that. See kind of what we're working with here. This one's gonna be longer if it holds. Put that way over here. Okay, now this is where it gets tricky because we have this pocket. We're gonna start at the tip and we're gonna use our indirect stick as well. So this was the bevel right there, and we abraded this way to draw it more center, and we're gonna shoot some flakes. Now this side's already gonna blow out. I already know it. Dang. Now these I am doing sequentially. So 1, 2, 3. And you see, at least at the tip, it thins it down a little bit. This light is not, it's just, I hate it. Hold on. Here, it's gonna blow out here. Watch out. And it did blow, but see what we're working with now. Don't that look so much better? Like 100 times better? It does to me. Probably gonna have to draw it in more because of that dumb thing right there. Actually, I might leave it. It'll give it some character. I don't know if it'll hold though. I'm just gonna repeat this on the other side and then we'll go from there. So you see what we did? Still a bevel. And we're gonna refine it here in a minute. Don't that look so much better than that right there? Old bland bevel. Much better. Okay, let me sharpen this up a little bit. Now we're going to do this other side here. Again, that was the bevel. We brought it down to more of a center line type deal. Start from the tip. Come on. All right, okay. So that's what we're left with. Now we're going to have to tidy it up even more. Because of this area here. So we're going to do one more pass. One more, I know. Don't get on my case too bad. All right, so we abraded, and this will be our final pass. Ought to be, at least, if this area doesn't blow away. Okay, abrade. All right, final pass here, final pass. Then we got to do some extra work, which you'll see in a moment. We're going to start on the side with this inclusion. I'll fix that in a moment. Not a huge deal there. All right, let's do this side. All right, that's gonna have to be enough. That's gonna have to be it. Got a decent bevel. Now what I'm gonna do is work on the base real quick, and then I'll tidy up the edges. Yeah, I'm gonna work on the base. Pete. Working on the notches here. While also thinning it out a little bit on the base. Let me see here. Yep, just comes straight in. That wasn't great. I already know this is gonna give me trouble. Alright. This indeed wants to give me a little trouble. Yeah, we got by it. We're good. I want to come more up than anything right here. There we go. That's what I needed right there. Yeah, it'll be fine. That's as far as I need to go. There it is. I know this is kind of time consuming, but as I said earlier, you know, you can always fast forward if you just want to. If you just want to, you can. I mean, I can't. At least not right now. But y'all can. Okay. It's just wanting to be some trouble. Asking for trouble. Let me sharpen my tip here. A little bit. Just a little bit. Be surprised at what a sharp copper nail will do, the damage it can do. Just kind of lightly abrading it there. we go. I'm gonna shoot a flake kind of up right there. Actually, here it is. You hadn't gotten these yet? These can help. Kind of abrade a little bit. You also help in other ways, but that's a secret for another day. You can only share so many secrets in a day. Or y'all will be making them like me, which is really the purpose of this. I want y'all to make them as good and as better as I can. And this is just me kind of showing my journey and how I do it, so that y'all can look and say, is that how I want to do it? Do I want to do it different than him? Does he have a cool style that I should do as well, or is his style really weird and whack? Here it is. Make the notches a bit bigger. I'll probably finish the base out once I finish the blade itself. As the blade itself, you know, needs to be tidied up and made pretty much perfect before I continue on. I do want to get this side of the notches clear though. Let's see, how did I have it there? Yeah, it went up. Had to use the other point as a reference. By the way, as y'all emulate points and point styles, sometimes, especially at the beginning, use a reference. You know, use something that, you know, you deem as a really, really nice point in your eyes and you want to replicate it. And then go out and replicate it. I know that seems kind of simple, but it's true. Actually, okay, now. All right, now I'm gonna tidy up every single one of these flakes I made. So right there, it's already like, okay, that's a decent Bolen, you know. But if I want to get it sharp, you see there's a difference. Now, you don't have to get it sharp. You can leave it like this. But in person, this kind of looks kind of ugly. You know, the side of it, I don't know. Looks unfinished. So we want to finish this thing. We don't make sure it's complete. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do a part 4 of me finishing this point, and I'll see you in part 4. All right, part 4 on this big old Bolen. We're getting somewhere. You can kind of see our bevel there. All right, okay. So here's how we're going to start. This is how we start. So this is our bevel that we already made. This is the side with that little part that we're just going to have to fool around with eventually. Okay. Now I like to, where this bevel is, I like to flip it over, and where the high side, the high ridge, not the beveled edge, but the high side, all these little flakes I hit, all the little indentions in there, I'm just going to make those bigger. Make those a little bigger. And by making these a little bigger, by spreading them out a little bit, you start to do something. You see what starts to happen down here? It's just all just little bloops. But where I started up here, it's starting to get sharp. You see that? It's starting to get kind of sharp up here. Now notice what happens on this side. These up here are starting to look pretty good, and these down here look kind of janky right here. But up here it's starting to look good. So that's all we're doing, is we're just kind of opening up these gaps. And that's it. And by opening up the gaps, we're making serrations on the blade. And we're making the backside of this thing look a lot better too, which we'll see in a moment. That's just gonna have, well, sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want to. Trying to work around this weird spot here. So we're opening up these little areas in between, kind of widening them, and by doing so we start getting these serrations. And you might get a honk from a semi truck if you do it long enough. Now this isn't the only step to making serrations now, so don't just click off the video and, oh, I figured it out. No, there's a little bit more to it, I'm afraid. Okay. All right, so notice this side here. It's kind of rough. But this side, we're starting to look okay. This side's starting to look pretty good. It honestly looks pretty all right as is, but we're gonna tidy it up. Now this side needs work. See, it doesn't look, I mean, you got the flake scars, but the edge looks odd compared to this edge here, which has some serrations, which we're about to make a little bit more prominent here. So same thing on this other side. Now I was working on this side, I'm gonna work on the opposite side. We're just opening up these little holes. These gaps is probably a better word. And sometimes you gotta make a gap. Look here, we got a gap here and a gap here, but we need a gap there in the middle. So, and look what happens on this side. There's like a little V. You see here, right there. There's a V. And by making a gap right there, there's no longer a V on this side. It's just a normal flake. So we open that gap. Let's see, right here maybe. Sometimes you gotta make some gaps, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. You know, preferably you shouldn't have to do any gaps if you're able to get your flaking correct, but you're not always able to get it correct and perfect. So you'll have some areas you need to work on. You have some gaps that are bigger than others, and you know, you can't do much there. You gotta work with what you got, and sometimes you can even them out, sometimes not. And once we do this side here, we open up all the gaps. What we're gonna do is we're gonna flip it. And we're going to kind of make these a little bit more prominent. Okay. Now I'll fool it down here in a little bit. Okay, so now we're starting to look like a point. Now you can go back to the beginning of this video and these serrations weren't on there, but now it's starting to look a little bit better. Now what we got to do is, you know, where we cleaned out these pockets from the back side, we cleaned out these pockets. What we need to do, if it'll focus, what we need to do is, if you look at the top side, it's got some indentions where we hit down, but we need to round them out on the back side. Now that makes probably not much sense, but we're gonna go back in these little areas. Use our braider. We're gonna make our serrations a little bit more prominent, make our area a little bit more cleaned up. And by doing that, we're removing a little bit of material on this back side, and that way it doesn't look so odd coming through. It looks like it has some normal convexity. Now I'll show you an example of what I mean here in a moment. Or really what we'll do is we'll just compare the sides and we'll see the difference that makes. Now you don't have to do serrations. I just did it on this other Tallahassee bowl, and I'm like, you know what? It looks pretty good. Gives it some character. So I figured, why not? Now we still have to do one more pass after this pass, just to make sure everything's neat and tidy and organized and the serrations are good. But notice we're just getting in that little pocket that we hit up. Notice that's our bevel right here. That's our bevel. And we're just kind of getting in the little pockets there. That's all we're doing. And in doing so, we're making these serrations a little bit longer, a little bit more pointy. Pointy generally means pretty good. And pretty sharp. Now, I know, and I thought about this while I was getting a little bit of food. You know, I would have loved to have had a big old blade, like a huge blade, made like a Savannah River, or literally anything like a Pickwick or Huge Noonan or something like that. But really the piece was kind of, I mean, it wasn't too wide. If it was a piece like this wide, like I could shoot some flakes and I'd have a real big piece. But and if I was using indirect, then I could have gotten a pretty decent blade. But I wanted to do direct percussion. It's what I'm really most good at. I'm really good at indirect, but indirect's not as much fun. And I use it all the time, don't get me wrong, but all right. We're gonna see this other side and compare it here in about 2 seconds. Or really about 30 seconds. And we'll see the difference that we made. If it was a good difference or a bad difference. Okay, this is the side we just did. This is the side that we haven't done yet. Okay, we just did this side, and really it just kind of opens up the back edge a little bit and makes these more prominent. So we'll do the same thing here. Get into these little pockets. It's right there, isn't much of a pocket, but it's something. Might need to shoot a couple more back up through there. Probably will. I'm making these gaps a little bit more round as well. And working my way up to the point, the serration, to give it that look that I want. Now, you can have different looking serrations. I think Pete found a squirrel. Every now and then he'll just start darting off somewhere. He's a golden lab for those of you who hadn't seen him. I showed him in one video, but I don't know what video it was. It might have been a while ago. Now this is the side with that little tough area, so I do need to be careful. Just pretend like that's a gap right there. That's what we're going to do. Pretend like this right here is a gap. Go. Hey. The world may never know that it wasn't a gap, but if you watch this video, you know. By the way, I'm just rambling on. I don't know if y'all actually enjoy my commentary or not. I haven't got any comments saying, be quiet. Not yet, at least. Yeah, I had somebody ask me the other day how long I've been napping. This year makes 4 years. But I've been exposed to arrowheads for about 6 years. I found some arrowheads out of this material. And really it was my buddy Lewis who got me into Flint-Knapping itself. I think there was one time he came over to my house. I was in college and I got back from college, and he brought a point over to my place, showed it to me. He said, look what I found, look what I found. Oh my goodness. And I'm like, oh wow, that's incredible, Lewis. That's a really good point. Then like a month later, I found out that he started making them, and I asked him, I said, did you make that? He was like, yeah, I was just messing with you. He's a good friend. He makes some good points, and we kid around all the time. Here at the tip, I'm pretty much going straight down, almost at a curved angle. So much. It's not even 90 degrees. It's like some obtuse angle. I mean, I'm pretty much driving like at a crazy angle here to get a twist at the tip. Okay, so now we got a decent blade here. You know, got some decent serrations, and we still got to work on those a little bit. But before I do, I'm gonna tidy up the base. And just a quick comparison here. The Coastal, this one's a little bit wider. A little bit wider. Another sip of sweet tea. I don't know what I'd do without sweet tea. It's the no calorie kind. Yeah, let me see about the base here real quick. I don't think this is gonna get any further in. Pete, get out of there, Bo. He wants to get over by the garbage cans. He must smell some old chicken or something. I don't know what he's smelling, but he likes it. This is a tricky area. I don't know how much further in I can go, if any at all here. Don't know. Might be all I can do. I'll tell you what. I'll show you one of my tricks here. If I can't go any further, oftentimes I'll take this here. What are we at, 20 minutes? Okay. I will get it right where I want to hit. And generally this will be, you know, okay. It'll help in most occasions. that seemed to help quite a bit. So just a little secret. I think I learned that from Bobby Davis. Bobby is a good guy. All right, now I'm just being extra. Just round this out. Make it look decent. And then call it. See how the base is. Okay, base is a little bit different on this other one, so I'm gonna try to mimic it a little bit. Draw it in just a tad, and you can already see we're pretty much there, guys. It's just a little bit of TLC here on out. Just a little bit of TLC. I just gotta shape up the base area here. It's okay to make some extra serrations. I'm not too worried about that. Or to have to redo your serrations. Just want to draw this in a little bit more. In fact, oftentimes with down towards the ears, I don't have any serrations. And I'll start the serrations up around the curve here. Now, kind of the same process. Now, this kind of is an exaggerated curve, so I'm gonna touch it up. That's much better. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's better. Much better, in my opinion. this raises up. In the corner. All right, now I just got to make the serrations a little bit more clear, and I'm gonna go down a little size. I'm at 10%. Smaller bit of copper here, and we're just gonna make these serrations pop. Just really clean them up and make them sharp, and try to get them as symmetrical as we can with one another. Some poke out a little far, some are a little too far in, and that's all I'm doing right here. So one of the final passes I'm gonna do is this right here. But this is an important one, you know, you don't want to skip it. This is what makes your point stand out, is taking the time to do these details here. Now this area is a little bit too far in. So we want to try to fix that if we can. Bring our serrations in a little bit by knocking them off. Getting it pretty much in line with one another. This one's a little out there, so tidy up that serration as well. And this will be a real nice point, I think. I don't know how many times I've said that. My mind at the very end just kind of goes away. I'm just so hyper focused on making sure everything's perfect. Not always aware of what I'm saying. I drew that in a little bit too far. Whoops. It'll work out. But yeah, this is certainly an important step. Makes things pretty much perfect, in line with one another. And you guys did ask for full videos, so nothing's getting cut out unless my battery goes out. And even then, hopefully you don't blame me too bad. Yeah, we're down to the wire. Down to the wire. All right, this side is pretty much done. I'm gonna work on this side here, tidy it up, and we'll be about done. Let's see, did I just work this side here? I don't think I did. Maybe I did just do this side here. Or did I do, no, I did the other side for sure. I'm gonna start at the tip. Start here. Work my way down. May not seem like I'm doing much, and I'm not. But what I am doing is really important. This will be a really long video. I mean, I probably spent 2.5 hours making this point, but I don't care. It was fun. And I might keep it, I might sell it, you know. If I sell it, it'll probably be a decent amount of money though. I really like it. But I might. Never know. We're getting there. We're getting there. Don't worry, guys. Almost there. Okay. Now just spot checking here. This will be a little quicker. Making sure everything's good on both sides. And here in a second, I'll show you a finished point. But I did want to show you the whole process and not leave anything out. And show you the tedious stuff too, the stuff that most people won't show, or I won't show usually because it takes too much time. This is a long point, it's close to 7 inches. a long, long point. All right, final pass on this side. Just touching up. Again, these aren't perfect. They're okay. Clean up the base, and I think we'll be pretty much done. Actually, the base looks okay. I don't know if I'll change the base. Nothing really need. Changing. I think it's fine as is. All right. Okay, not too bad. You know, pretty decent little point. I'll get this here and abrade a little bit. In fact, I might do a little, no, I probably won't. Shut that down pretty quick. No. There's no reason to risk anything at this stage. So here we have it, a big old Bolen. Biggin. Is it perfect? No. But it gets the job done. Right. I think this will pretty much wrap us up here, guys. Again, I told you I'd walk you through the whole thing, so that's what I'm doing here. Okay, that'll do. That'll be all right. Now, take this and braid real lightly. Okay. All right, just like that, we got a nice, nice Bolen bevel. Pretty nice. Try to get a thumbnail here. I'll have to let y'all tell me what you think. If you do your bevels a little different, or if you like the way I did mine, or if you put serrations on yours or not. Let me know. I'm curious. But this will do it for today. And measure. And 6 and a little over 3/4. So almost 7 inches. And we got 2 Bolens that I think look pretty good. Pretty decent. So happy with that. And I think that'll be it. We're at 42 minutes. So thank y'all for watching, and hope you enjoyed, and let me know what you think. I appreciate y'all.